It's amazing how we as the internet fan base can get so ridiculous when it comes to anything comic book related or anything geek or nerd related or anything of that nature. And at times I get it, at times I don't. I give you an example. I've made it known on our podcast, Three by Geeks podcast, that I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. 20 plus years of following the show since '93 up to now. Watched every season and stuff. The good, the bad, and the meh. So much like when that Power Ranger fan film came out, I had a lot to say because you watch the series over the years, and I know some people were like, "Whoa, Power Rangers needs to be gritty because that's what it needs." And it's like, no, because the show has shown that it can be serious and still keep the idea of people in suits and make it work. And when you see it work in a show, again, 20 plus years of a show that has varying degrees of tonality, from the goofy with Turbo, Power Rangers Turbo, the hated season, goofy as hell. But then you have some serious seasons like Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue, um, I would say SPD to an extent. These are just examples and stuff, and you can do a serious show. Now, I say all to say, us as fans, we had a right to be a little kind of like subtle on that trailer, on that gritty fan film, because that's not what Power Rangers is. And there are great examples of how you can keep what works and still make it work for the audience. Now, why am I saying all this? So DC is doing a Suicide Squad movie, if you didn't already know, and in the movie, Joker's going to be it. Jared Leto is playing the Joker. Now, the other night, they released a picture of Jared Leto full blown as Joker in all his glory, and the internet, in predictable fashion, reacted in two ways. Three ways. I'm gonna be fair to this. Three ways. You had one, a person who, people who really weren't in the comic books that thought that it was alright, fair enough. The Joker is ingrained in pop culture, but you have some people that really don't know too much about the Joker, so they were just like, oh, it's alright. They didn't feel one way or the other about it. You got the fan community, the comic book fan community, which again was split into two. You had ones that were like, oh my god, the Joker is awesome, which is me. I thought the Joker looked phenomenal. Then you had the other ones who really just do their jobs to just suck the wind out of everybody when it comes to this type of news. And these are the type of people that baffle me and stuff. We've had comic book movies over the years, and I would say starting from Iron Man and the Nolan movies going forward, all of them have been good. Sans Green Lantern, all of them have been phenomenal. Now, whether you love them or not, that's objective. That's subjective because everybody has different tastes, and some people might say this movie's bad, and other people might say it's good. But either which way, all of them, for the most part, have been phenomenally good. The one thing that you can also say too is that the casting has been really good. All right, so Jared Leto wouldn't have been my first choice to be Joker, but I was willing to sit there and see what's happening because Jared Leto is, at least to me, he's actually a really good actor. I'm not going to sit there and say he's horrible. So when I heard he was going to be Joker, I was like, I see how it goes. I can see them going a multitude of ways. They'll probably make him like the Arkham series in terms of his look and stuff, and things of that nature. So I'm fine with that. Let's see how this goes. So when the picture came out last night, I loved it. Thought it was cool. The one thing I took out of this is the fact that, when you're on Twitter, Twitter is kind of like the pulse of the fanboy community. And as usual, we got nothing but people sitting up there saying, that's not my Joker. That's not the Joker I grew up with. All right, this is just me schooling you and hitting you with a history lesson. Over the years, we have had multitudes of different versions of the Joker. This is just how it is. We've always had multitude of different versions of the Joker. All right. The one thing I can say is that every Joker that we've had, and I'm going strictly on media form, from cartoons and live action, the one thing you can say is the fact that, hey, every Joker that we've had have been good. Some excellent, but for the most part, they have been good. So I figured, in fashion, just to school people, and hey, feel free to comment on the video if you want to throw your 2 cents, because hey, I don't mind this. So we'll start off with Cesar Romero as the Joker. I remember seeing Batman 66 as a kid, growing up on regular TV. It was syndicated and stuff. Cesar Romero played a Joker that was just very goofy and cool. I won't say off-putting, but he was just a very goofy and kooky Joker, like, oh, Batman, I'm going to kill you. You went with that. And he was very enjoyable. He was good. Most people can sit there and tell you that Cesar Romero was a good Joker. Probably one of the standout characters in the 66 Batman. So you go from that and you go to the 89 Batman with Tim Burton and you get Jack Nicholson. If you know Jack Nicholson's line of work, he's a very charismatic actor. Good actor too. So the idea of him being a Joker, again, he's playing a different... He might as well say it's Jack Nicholson playing Jack Nicholson cosplaying as Joker. It's just Jack Nicholson being Jack Nicholson. And I'm fine with that because, again, that's just a different type of Joker. He was awesome, had great lines, and it was fun. He was awesome. And a lot of people, for the most part, were just like, oh, man, this is going to be cool. Let's see where this is going to go because, Nicholson was awesome. So you go from there, and for a lot of us, at least as a kid, we were just like, man, Jack Nicholson Joker was awesome, and this is what we knew. So when 93, 94 came out, I believe Batman the Animated Series came out. Now, Batman the Animated Series, phenomenal show. 4 seasons, freaking phenomenal. We had a Joker in there that just ended up becoming, and I think this version of the Joker is what kind of solidified people's in their brains of the Joker. Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, played the Joker, and let me tell you, he owned the role. That's the one thing that you can sit there and say, that out of all these Jokers, Mark Hamill owned the role. We'll talk about the other person later that owned it too. But Mark Hamill owned the role as Joker. Whenever people on Twitter, you mention who is the best Joker, 9 times out of 10, actually, you know what? 10 times out of 10, most people are going to be like, boom, Mark Hamill. Just like when you ask who's the best Batman, most people say, hey, Kevin Conroy. Majority of people say Kevin Conroy. Who am I kidding? Because Kevin Conroy, just like Mark Hamill, he owned the role. Like when I read a comic book, I'm hearing Kevin Conroy's voice as Batman. I'm hearing Mark Hamill's Joker in my head when I read a comic book that has Joker in it. That's how much those guys own the role. And like I said, Mark Hamill did Joker so well. The laugh was just on point. Iconic laugh. Alright, I don't think any other Joker since then have really nailed the laugh per se, but he owned it. And it went from the Batman animated series to Batman Beyond to the Justice League movie shows, and even some of the DC, direct-to-DVD movies and stuff that he's done as a Joker. I think he did, Joker. I'm trying to think, did he do Joker? I don't know. Either which way, he did Joker and Batman animated series. Now, I say all that to say, all right, you go from that, all right. Now, there was another cartoon called The Batman. Now, The Batman was very different. Different animation and such like that. But the one thing I can say is that they made Joker, the look of him, very psychotic and a little off-putting and stuff. And the Joker in that movie show was voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson. And again, Kevin Michael Richardson did a phenomenal job as the Joker. Very good. I loved it. And it helped, like I said, the aesthetics of Joker in that show. He had red eyes and the wild green hair and stuff like that. And Kevin Michael Richardson played him as just a very funny, not really off-putting, but just a very homicidal Joker. And it was fun. You enjoyed it. And I would say one of the movies that I watched from that series and stuff, I wasn't really a huge fan of it and stuff. It was called The Batman vs. Dracula. Good movie, by the way. You should watch that. And, Joker was bitten by Count Dracula, and, and Joker pretty much, again, he's just very creepy and such, and the Joker is still cracking jokes at the same time, so it's whatever. So we cut to that, and we go to Batman Brave and the Bold. Now, Batman Brave and the Bold, the Joker in that was kind of like the Cesar Romero, Joker, a little bit. And he was voiced by Jeff Bennett. I thought it was voiced by Tim Curry. Tim Curry actually originally, before Mark Hamill took on board, he was actually supposed to voice Joker in Batman the Animated Series, and there's videos of Tim Curry's voiceover for that. And Tim Curry's voiceover was pretty good as Joker too. That would have been interesting if he actually got the job. But Jeff Bennett played Joker in Batman Brave and the Bold. I wouldn't say memorable, but it was still a good Joker. He's playing off the Cesar Romero in a very jokey way, and it works. I loved it. And the style of Brave and the Bold fit that Joker. So you cut to that, and then you cut to the live action in the Nolan movies. Now, the Nolan movies, I remember after the end of Batman Begins, Batman got the Joker card. I was like, oh man, who's going to be the Joker? Now, this example sticks out big time when it comes to how it relates to Jared Leto, because we were told that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker. Now, I remember all the jokes, and I was part of the jokes too, even though I wasn't full on against this casting and stuff. Everybody's like, oh man, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, and oh man, that gay dude from Brokeback, he's going to be the Joker. That's not my Joker. And yet, him, just like Mark Hamill, he owned that role. You mention Heath Ledger's name 10 times out of 10, most people sit there and say, oh, Joker from the Dark Knight. Because he did a phenomenal job. He did an excellent job as a Joker. Now, again, different interpretation and stuff. He wasn't trying to be Jack Nicholson. He was trying to just be this psychotic, crazed guy. And again, he had lines that were funny and just his mannerisms and stuff. The big one was, when he's Joker after he talks to Two-Face and stuff, he comes out there and tries to detonate the building and it doesn't work, and his mannerism and stuff was funny. That's a funny role, and, just everything that's going on. And it's just, he owned that role. You came out of Dark Knight like, yo, that Joker is awesome. Jack Nicholson, who? Even though you can say that, hey, guess what? Jack Nicholson brought this to the table and Heath Ledger brought this to the table and stuff. So I digress. Now, you go past that and we go back to animation, you got Batman Under the Red Hood, which is famous because it was pretty much based about Jason Todd being the Red Hood and stuff. And John DiMaggio played Joker in that. John DiMaggio did a phenomenal job of Joker. Again, it's almost kind of like Mark Hamill's, but he did it very differently and stuff. Just funny-ass lines. I remember specifically how Joker's eating chips and he's asking for water and he kills all the guys and stuff like that, and yet it's all jokes to him. And it's awesome. And even at the end of the movie where Red Hood has him at gunpoint and he's all like, oh, we're one big happy family, and it's funny. John DiMaggio was funny as hell as the Joker. And again, good Joker. Not iconic by any stretch, but he did a good job as Joker. You see the context that I'm going here. We got lots of good Jokers and stuff. And even if you weren't a fan of maybe the person that was voicing it and stuff, you still came out of it like, yo, he did a pretty good job. He did a really good job. Now, I'll even go down to, say, the two ones that were kind of like, they were there and that's it. Brent Spiner voiced Joker in Young Justice, and then, it wasn't much to really snuff at. He just played a Joker, and that was it. To me, it wasn't memorable, but it is what it is. He did a good job for what it was. You got Michael Emerson playing Joker in Dark Knight Returns, and I thought that was awesome. I really thought that was freaking phenomenal. He did a really good job of just playing this crazy Joker. And if you've never read the book, you gotta read it. Emerson did a phenomenal job. Again, it ain't nothing that to me was iconic, but again, he did a good job playing a different type of Joker and stuff. But the one consistency that you can say up to this point, before I go to the next, is the fact that all of them, even if they're playing a different interpretation of Joker, all of them still play the fun-loving, jokery kind of character and stuff, in his own way. So we go from that, and we go to Batman Assault on Arkham, and even Arkham Origins to an extent, Troy Baker. And Troy Baker, to me, he's doing a kind of Mark Hamill impression when he's doing Joker. And I'm fine with that, because you can listen to Joker in Assault on Arkham and Arkham Origins, and you think it's Mark Hamill, but it's not. So that's a good thing about Troy Baker, that he did a phenomenal job of making you like, oh, is that Mark Hamill? No, it's not Mark Hamill. It's Troy Baker. And he did a good job. And I love the Joker in Assault on Arkham, which, again, it goes back to Jared Leto. With Jared Leto. Jared Leto, I think, is going to kill as Batman. And just to really kind of bring it all together, I know full and well the fan base community, they're hypocrites. Let's just get this out the way. You guys are fucking hypocrites. The ones that are hating this. I'm not saying everybody. Just the ones that are hating this. You know how hypocritical you guys are? Michael B. Jordan said it best. You're going to complain about it, but guess what? Your ass is going to be in line watching it. You're going to watch it. Love it or hate it, you can sit there and just be like, oh, I'm not going to watch it. Bullshit. You're going to be first in line with your ticket and watching the Suicide Squad movie, and you're going to be sucking off Jared Leto because of how phenomenal he's going to be in that movie, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. You can fight me on, you can sit there and say no, bullcrap. You're going to be first in line watching Suicide Squad and enjoying Jared Leto and all that he's going to bring to the table. So, I don't want to hear it. I don't. We got way too much good stuff out here in comic book movies and TV shows and such for you people to sit there and just be the wet blanket and stuff. So real talk, at the end of the day, check your fandom, alright? Even if you don't like it, see where it goes. Because, again, I just listed down at least 8 people, 8, 9, maybe 10 people that have been the Joker over the years, and they've gotten a lot of flack for it. Jack Nicholson back in '89 got a lot of flack for being Joker. Mark Hamill, I don't know if Mark Hamill got any flack because, hey, we worship Mark Hamill so much that, he was Joker, he's iconic. I'm pretty sure Kevin Michael Richardson got flack for being a Joker. I'm pretty sure, Brent Spiner, I remember when that episode of Young Justice and it was the Joker, a lot of people were lukewarm on it, and I understood. It's like, well, it's Joker, he's there, he's a throwaway character in Young Justice and the greater part of it and stuff. But I was enjoying it because I was like, hey, it's the Joker, it is what it is. But all these people, in one way or the other, has had blowback from the fandom. But you know what? The show goes on because you're gonna watch it anyway. You're going to watch it and you're gonna enjoy it, and ain't nothing you can do about it. So, like I said, if you want to, throw a comment on the video down below and y'all want to argue amongst yourselves, knock yourself out. All I'm saying is, give Jared Leto a shot. He's gonna knock it out of the park. I think the image is iconic, and he's gonna try to own the role, much like Heath Ledger did, much like Jack Nicholson did, much like everybody that took turns being the Joker is doing. They're putting their own spin on the Joker while still keeping what makes the Joker Joker. And I really feel Jared Leto's gonna do that. So, hey, it is what it is. CJ out.